began as a journey before sunrise. The road was quiet and wind carried stronger vapor, and the sky slowly turned grey. Every every step brought him closer to turn through the hidden view, searching for when they finally reaches the abandoned village and nothing about recognition of blocked or normal empty houses stood unarched for years. Its fresh pot frame covers the dusty street discord opened by timely save and distant voice in coach the road. Years someone sometimes was watching him. He explored deeper to discover the hidden underground chambers filled with the old journey broken to the force and recognition and my stress is symbols covered in stone was one journal described as an ancient pyre the hidden destroyed the village generation ago. Another claimed the pyre was never an incident without less the people who survived had hidden the truth to protect themselves. The document revealed a conspiracy involved powerful leaders who secretly encoded leaves to gain control of the lands and its valuable resources. Before he could not have stronger surrounding the village, they demanded the documents knowing the continued evidence that could expose everything. Mitao refused to surrounding the truth. A dangerous crisis began throughout. He dark forest across the river and over the abundance of bridge. Every decision could not mean life or death. The tension grew with every passing moment. Meanwhile, the friends finally understood why Mitao and disappointed failed. With a great the followed the clues left behind and arrived just as themselves to help him escape together. The thought through impossible of scarcity refused to live poor control future and down approaches they reached the highlight as overlooking the valley. Mitao held to the compass in his hands and faces the child the old opening and Paraonis could not destroy the evidence and remain safe or rewards to turn risk. Everything after a long silence he closed change over fear. The hidden story spread across the country. The people finally learned with the village and justified did not come too easily but happen return where darkness and reward for a generation. Mitao looked toward the rising sun, knowing that the truth often demands subscribe, but it is the bring of freedom. Some battle are part that strength, while others and he simply refuse to turn in. And that is only the beginning of a much greater story. Thanks for watching and see in the next episode. Allah Hafiz. Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. Without could not to stop thinking about it. In this episode, we discuss today the condition of family. He village had discovered during his journey. Every answer seemed to create two new questions, and the silence and surrounding the place felt huge. Then my world is the distance between him and his closest friend continued to grow. The realize that someone secret have the power to change people power your one evening as old travel handed Mitao is a painted of map without seeing a single word. Map pointed to world of forgotten really hidden behind endless forest and river. The villagers believe that one of the most and simple recognition the forest and the village believed that one of who enters the village will every return the same person engagement. And he said that every warning Mitao began as a journey before sunrise. The road was quiet and wind carried stronger vapor, and the sky slowly turned grey. Every step brought him closer to turn through the hidden view, searching for when they finally reaches the abandoned village and nothing about recognition of blocked or normal empty houses stood unarched for years. Its fresh pot frame covers the dusty street discord opened by timely save and distant voice in coach the road. Years someone sometimes was watching him. He explored deeper to discover the hidden underground chambers filled with the old journey broken to the force and recognition and my stress is symbols covered in stone was one journal described as an ancient pyre the hidden destroyed the village generation ago. Another claimed the pyre was never an incident without less the people who survived had hidden the truth to protect themselves. The document revealed a conspiracy involved powerful leaders who secretly encoded leaves to gain control of the lands and its valuable resources. Before he could not have stronger surrounding the village, they demanded the documents, knowing the continued evidence that could expose everything. Mitau refused to surrounding the truth. A dangerous crisis began throughout. He dark forest across the river and over the abundance of bridge. Every decision could not mean life or deep. The tension grew with every passing moment. Meanwhile, the friends finally understood why Mitau and disappointed failed. With a great the part the clues left behind and arrived just as themselves to help him escape together. The thought through impossible of scarcity refused to live poor control future and down approaches they reached the highlight as overlooking the valley. Mitau held to the compass in his hands and faces the child the old opening and forgiveness could not destroy the evidence and remain safe or rewards to turn risk everything. After a long silence he closed change over fear. The hidden story spread across the country. The people finally learned with the village and justified did not come too easily but happen return where darkness and reward for a generation. Without look toward the rising sun, knowing that the truth often demands subscribe, but it is the bring of freedom. Some battle are part that strength, while others and simply